Now, you know, the media made such a big deal about the twerk concert that went on earlier this week. Yeah, they said we'd be real nervous about packing this joint out. So I told the campaign, y'all, I did. I told the campaign, I said, I can get out there and twerk for these folks. They said, not only do we not need you to twerk, but let me tell you something. Donald Trump has never needed a gimmick to draw a crowd.
That's Mike Collins of Georgia's 10th district speaking at a Trump rally a couple of weeks ago, right after Vice President Harris had her rally there. She was joined by Megan Thee Stallion and others. And of course, he has to say possibly the most racist thing imaginable, because that's who he is. That's who Mike Collins is. Why do we know that Mike Collins is a racist? Well, let's see some of his work. Like, here's him tweeting about the event last year at Ole Miss where a black protester of the Palestinian cause was taunted by fraternity boys at Ole Miss to include making monkey sounds at her. This sitting member of Congress posted this. Yeah. Praising the young men for being open racist who were later investigated for their behavior by the Ole Miss. This is Mike Collins. He's been attacked many times for his outrageous behavior, for the saying of things. Matter of fact, we got to do one more. This is Mike Collins after the Norfolk Southern derailment. This is his theory on why a train derailed. Watch this.
After seeing another Norfolk Southern train derailed this weekend, I was reminded of the fact that the company wrote to shareholders stating that it is focused on DEI. This administration's focus on DEI is forcing private companies to rethink their goals. And one has to wonder, was Norfolk Southern's DEI policies are directing resources away from the important things like greasing wheel bearings? Y'all, this insanity must stop.
Yeah. DEI. He went on the floor of the House of Representatives to give a speech implying that because the railroad was trying to hire more people of color and give them an equal chance to work, that's the reason that wheels didn't get oiled or some ridiculous racist bullshit, because that's who Mike Collins is. But you know what? He's got competition in Georgia's 10th district this time. Georgia's 10th, if you know it, includes Athens, where the University of Georgia is, as well as suburbs of Atlanta and a large swath of rural Georgia just to the northeast of Atlanta. Lexy Doherty is a geologist and educator. She's jumped in the race. She also works as a poll worker. So she's jumped in the race to save our democracy. As soon as I heard about Lexy's race, I had to get her into the hot seat. So this is me. I'm Fred Wellman, host of On Democracy with FP Wellman, right here at the MeidasTouch Network. And this is In the Hot Seat with Lexy Doherty. Man, Lexy, so glad to have you join us. I was doing videos of Mike Collins. I had the hardest time picking like which ones to pick because there's so many videos of Mike Collins. A lot of
options there.
Yeah, he's really giving MTG a run for his money. Look, the first thing I always ask candidates, welcome to the show. Welcome to the MeidasTouch Network. I'm glad to have you here. I love your part of the country. I lived in Georgia for a while. You're a geologist. You're in the education business. What drove you to run for a Congress against Mike Collins?
So the super simple answer is I just believe that representatives should work for their constituents, and our current representative doesn't do that so much. But the long answer is that I've been interested in politics for a long time, but didn't really see myself going that route anytime soon, maybe someday in the future. But I've worked as a poll worker for a while as well. And so I follow a lot of election data. That's kind of one of the things that I'm into. And I was looking at this race and saw that every year we're shifting a couple points to the left. And with UGA continuing to grow and Athens, being really at the center of the district, I just saw that this is going to flip sooner or later. And we haven't had a serious candidate in a long time. So I kind of had a moment where I was like, well, if we wanted to flip sooner than later, we got to get to work. So I decided to jump in and give it hell and, see what we could pull off.
Well, it's a great year. You picked a great year for it. With the change of
I keep
ticket,
saying it's been a crazy year to get into politics. And I started saying that a year ago, and it's just gotten more true as we've gone along. So, whatever.
There's that.
We're rolling with it.
That. Yeah, well, you got a great area there. Athens is gorgeous. It's a beautiful part of our state. Like I said, I love Georgia so much. I lived there for a while, and I think you take that with you as a geologist. That caring for our natural environment, caring for the natural beauty and the environment that we care about goes right into what you're doing, right? I mean, environmental issues are a very big part of what you're doing in your race. How's your twist on as you face the issues of environmental issues in that region? What's your take on that? How do you approach that?
So I would say I come from a background of like I got my start organizing in the climate movement, so
Hmm.
definitely kind of traditional climate, concerns. But also I've worked on farms my whole life. So I also am big into like agriculture, sustainability, making sure that we're supporting small farmers. So I think as much as just the climate change part of things, I'm really interested in like clean water, clean soil, investing in our family farms and making sure that they are transitioning from conventional, like really high input agriculture to some more sustainable methods that are better for the environment, but they're also, better for biodiversity and better for the bottom line of farms if you're not, having to throw all of these inputs into your soil to be profitable.
Right, and that's an important part. You've got a very rural community in your district, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's about 50-50. So we've got some suburban Atlanta and then Athens, but basically other than that, it's all rural for most of the district.
Wow, that's a lot to take on. And rural families are struggling, just like urban families are struggling. Working families are really having a hard time. It's been really a joy to see the approach by the Waltz or excuse me, Harris and Waltz campaign. Tim Waltz was just on Labor Day this week giving speeches about, hey, look, making sure we can make their own, achieve their own goals and have economic success is a big part of that. You've made working families a big part of your platform, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from like a working middle class family. I
Yeah.
saw my parents just work incredibly hard to make sure that I had every opportunity. And I think I've been incredibly privileged and lucky in my life in, getting to go to college, though I do still have student loans and, getting a good job, though I still struggle to pay for housing. So I think I just really see everyone going through this together and I'm right there with them. So when I think about the job of a representative, it should be to make people's lives better. Like to me, that's what it comes down to. And our current representative is too busy fighting culture wars to like actually support people here in Georgia. So that's really at the center of the work that I want to do is actually to like make sure we're fighting the cost of housing and bringing down prescription drug prices. We're supporting affordable childcare, and I really want to bring back that extended child tax credit. So those are like just like I said, just core to what I think the job should be, and it's not getting done very well right now.
Yeah, the focus really is on the billionaires and the donor class and not so much regular Americans and making sure that the people who are supposed to be electing us are actually being served, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, Collins is a perfect example of that. He's basically on the record saying that he wanted to run to make sure that he was reducing regulations for his own industry, so it's just there for himself, like 100%.
Yeah, which is always the way it goes. Now, you mentioned you've got Athens in your district. You've got parts of suburban Atlanta. Obviously, the big issue we can't avoid it. It's the 100-pound, 300-pound gorilla in the room, which is of course abortion rights and abortion access to women's health care. I can't imagine that's a big issue for you, especially in a giant university town like Athens, is it?
Oh, it comes up all the time. It comes up with young people, of course, but also I've retired folks care about it because they care
Yeah.
about their kids and grandkids. So it's really I've seen just absolutely across the board, people don't want to lose the right to control their own bodies. I think it really comes down to that for most people.
Yeah, and the numbers have been great for Democrats since Dobbs, and as you talked about going back to the beginning of our conversation, that you see an opportunity perhaps to try and really move this district where it belongs to normal. I mean, we talk about left or right, but in a lot of ways, we're talking normal. And you got something like Mike
Yeah,
Cummings on
right.
against you, and so that really is driving. Is that what you're hearing as you knock on doors for folks? Even I mean, what are you hearing when you knock on doors about the healthcare issues you're dealing with?
Yeah, like I said, absolutely. Abortion comes up all the time, but also just kind of regular old kitchen table issues, right? I'd say the most common thing is that people are just concerned about their bottom line, affording housing, affording groceries. And I think people are just struggling across the board. And right now they see a Congress that is, doing, I mean, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that they're one of the least effective Congresses,
Yeah.
I mean, of all times, at least in my living memory. So there's a lot of work to be done and not much work happening right now.
Yeah, and that goes to that good. I mean, you've made good governance a part of your platform. I saw on your website that you talk about good governance. What is good governance? How's that translate? I mean, we've talked a little bit about it with Mike Collins Affairs, but how do you see good governance, and what is that going to look like if you get elected to Congress?
So this is one of those things that like I love to get very nerdy about.
Let's go.
I
This is the place for it, sister.
Beautiful. So I just fundamentally believe that like democracy is the best form of government. I think we as people make good decisions and bad decisions, but hopefully for the most part we learn from those. But to me it comes back to like we should all have a say in the government that more or less controls the way we can and can't live our lives. So
Yeah.
when I see someone like Trump who's I mean, right, we all know the line wants to be a dictator on day one and is telling people that they won't have to vote in 4 years. That just scares the crap out of me, to say the least. So,
Yeah.
the bottom, like the bare minimum is like, hey, we should probably protect democracy. But then I also think there's a lot of corruption that goes on in government. Again, I'm sure nobody will be surprised to hear this, but for me, congressional members being able to trade stocks. I think that
Right.
is absurd, that they get to be in these closed door meetings and then go move their money around. And, there's just a lot of issues like that. Oh man, campaign finance reform, overturning Citizens United. That's a huge one for me because I'm a young person I'm a broke millennial, all my friends are broke millennials. So I didn't have some, family to bankroll this campaign. I sure couldn't do it. I don't have a bunch of rich friends to say, hey, can you max out to the campaign? I think we would have a lot more like regular people in government if it was a little easier for regular people to run a campaign.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Now, the most important question, of course, is, and the wonderful thing about the Midas Mighty and our fans that follow the show is, they want to help, and you've got the chance. You've got a real toxic member of Congress who needs a real opponent. Where can they find out more information about your campaign? Where can they donate? We always love that. A couple bucks here and there goes a long way. Tell us how to find you.
So my website is lexydoherty.com. It's LEXYDOHERTY. But I've also found that there aren't a lot of Lexy Dohertys out there. So if you just Google me, doesn't matter how you spell my first or last name,
We'll
you'll
put it on
find me.
screen. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
And
it.
then
I love it.
yeah, we've got just our donate button. You go to Act Blue. And like you said, anything helps. So we've raised six figures, which is the
Oh,
most anyone's raised in this district in a long time.
it's great.
Um, but we really are trying to raise another $75,000 to make sure that we can reach all of the people in the district that we need to get to turn out. Because one of the things I hear in this district too is that people don't know who their representative is a lot of the time.
Right.
They don't know who's running. They just assume that, they're not getting any help, that it's not even worth worrying about.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to
Well,
make sure that we're reaching people.
I love it. 8 weeks to go. You've got the wind at your back right now. It's an exciting time to be a Democrat. As me and my friend Simon Roseberg say often, I'd rather be us than them. And
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
congratulations on your run, and keep us informed. But best of luck to you, and keep up the fight.
Thank you so much, Fred. It's been great chatting with you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Wow, great conversation. Lexy is one of those young folks, millennial going into the fight. We love seeing this. You guys know I'm passionate about younger voters from my support of Voters of Tomorrow and others. So give her a shout. It's at Doherty. You got our website up there. We'll do more of these as we get close to the election. We're some 8 weeks out or less from the election. There's a lot of races you should know about, doing some really interesting stuff. And now with the top of our ticket being so powerful, so joyous, so powerful, we've really got an opportunity to flip some seats. And I hope you'll find some information about them right here in the MeidasTouch Arc. Again, I am Fred Wellman, host of On Democracy, FP Wellman, right here in the MeidasTouch Network. We post new shows every Friday night at 11 Eastern. Be sure to join us for those. In the meantime, it's up to us to win this thing, folks. Get in the fight, and we'll win this thing in November. Talk to you soon.